find it frightening. And I think it is a powerful comment here. Second point is much of this stuff has been tragically committed by the much more complicated person Obama. And he's sustaining this now. There's just a report by Scott Horton on Harper's of the murder of 3 prisoners who were supposed to be released at the secret site at Guantanamo. All over the English newspapers this week. I report on it briefly on my blog on the announcement for this film. The blog is Democratic Individuality with a dash, blogspot.com. You can connect with the articles there. It's worth reading. Straight murder. There are 100 murders in Pentagon custody. You get imprisoned by the United States and you be Brown. The crime of torture is a normal thing. They murdered 100 people. You might check out how many people Obama now wants to lock away forever. His corruption about Guantanamo. 47. Right, 47. 580 people at Guantanamo now been released, 380. Might think about all those murders, what they mean. There isn't any question that this is a legal issue. And the third point, I want to correct one thing in the film. It's too complicated for the filmmakers to get, and they relied on people who didn't look deeply into the issue and don't understand it. And that is the issue of realism. Joseph Corbell invited me to co-teach with him his course on comparative communism. He shared with me a great deal of information about who he was in Czechoslovakia. He was a Democrat. And what that meant in the era of the rise of Hitler in Eastern Europe was that he allied himself with communists, and he said to me, the only people who had the guts to fight against Hitler were the communists. The Social Democrats betrayed us. He was a member of the radical underground. He was in London during World War II writing pro-Stalin releases for the Czech resistance. He told me and Condoleezza, we were in the room at the same time, that at Munich there was one power in Europe that was willing to stand for Czech democracy regardless of whether anybody else did. Just like they fought for the Spanish Republic, and that was the Soviet Union. Soviet Union betrayed more radical people. I was very critical of Stalin, naturally, he's a big murderer. But the fact is that I admired the Soviet effort in World War II and was thankful for it, and the world would have been better off if England and the United States had not been too cowardly to support the Spanish Republic, or too treacherous, or had not cooperated with and sold war goods to the Nazis. Corbell was a realist. He was a realist who wanted to advance human values and thought fascism and racism were not human values. When I said that he would turn over in his grave at what Condi had become, and that it is a treachery to Joe Corbell to bring him up as like Brent Scowcroft. Brent Scowcroft decently criticized the crazed neocon policy, right? But Brent Scowcroft, no Joe Corbell. That is not in this film, and it should be said. So I wanted to say it before we started out. Questions?